Hey there, fellow reality transurfers, and welcome back to the Transurfer space. Today, we're diving deep into the secret to riding the cosmic wave, the path of least resistance, and the alternatives flow. Initially, I wanted to make 2 videos explaining each concept in detail, but separately. However, I realized discussing them together made more sense, so let's get into it. First of all, I want to start with an example. Remember that feeling of desperately searching for a parking spot in a crowded lot? You get frustrated. You're expending energy left and right, and it feels like you're going in circles. You may even curse and get angry. But then, in a moment of surrender, you resign yourself to have to park further away from the ideal spot for you. You turn around, and what happens? Bam! The perfect spot magically appears. This is the very essence of the path of least resistance. At its core, the path of least resistance invites us make a conscious decision to let go of struggle and instead embrace the gentle guidance of the universe. It teaches us to embrace the ebb and flow of life, to shed the weight of control. Are you elbowing your way through life? Well, that's the perfect recipe for grinding and striving. In our previous video, we gave you a sneak peek into this concept. This path of least resistance is the most efficient and effective way to achieve our goals. And it is the path that is most aligned with the natural flow of the universe, with the laws of the universe. From an energetic standpoint, the path of least resistance is the path that is most in harmony with the energy of the universe. Like I said before, the whole philosophy OA's Transurfing is about jumping on the path of least resistance and staying there. Vadim Zeeland writes, "The alternative streams are organized along the path of least resistance. This is where the optimal solution to any problem lies." Here is an analogy to illustrate life on the path of least resistance and its contrary. Imagine that the universe is like a river. The path of least resistance is like the path that the river naturally flows, and it requires the least amount of energy to navigate. If we try to swim against the current, we will be using more energy, and it will be more difficult to reach our destination. However, if we go with the flow of the river, we will be using less energy, and it will be easier to reach our destination. Let me give you another example. If you are trying to improve a relationship with someone, you could spend a lot of energy trying to change their behavior or convince them to see things your way. However, the path of least resistance would be to focus on changing your own behavior and perspective, as this would require less energy and would be more effective in the long run. The path of least resistance is the perfect segue into another concept, the alternatives flow. I already hinted at this when I mentioned the flow of the river. In reality transurfing, the alternatives flow refers to the natural flow of the energy of the alternative space. The path of least resistance is a part of the alternatives flow, and it is the path that requires the least amount of energy to achieve a desired outcome. The alternatives flow is impersonal and works in conjunction with the laws of the universe. You are either aligned or you are not. The energy we radiate can either attract or repel certain alternatives in the flow. Positive, focused energy tends to attract more desirable outcomes, while negative or scattered energy might lead to less desirable results. Another fascinating aspect of the alternatives flow is the idea of parallel lifelines. This concept suggests that different versions of your life are simultaneously unfolding in parallel streams within the alternatives flow. Each choice or each decision you make leads to a different consequence that can be considered as the nexus point of the flow, and therefore can shift you onto a different lifeline, a different destiny, and ultimately leading to slightly or significantly altered experiences. Let's recap. Transurfing is the alternatives model, and reality in the alternatives. Space unfolds according to the alternatives flow based on the laws of the universe. There, the alternatives flow is such that all the possible versions of our lives exist simultaneously in parallel lifelines. Our reality is not limited to the linear path we once believed. Instead, it branches out into an infinite web of possibilities, a tapestry of parallel lifelines that coexist within the alternative space. Imagine for a moment stepping through a cosmic doorway, transcending the boundaries of time and space. As you enter the realm of the alternatives flow, you witness a breathtaking panorama of endless potentials. Each lifeline represents a different version of yourself, each one living a unique existence, navigating through the ebb and flow of their own choices, actions, and circumstances. From this perspective, life becomes a grand symphony of choices, where every decision, no matter how seemingly insignificant, has the power to alter the trajectory of our journey. The alternatives flow reminds us that we are not helpless voyagers at the mercy of fate, but active participants in shaping our reality. Every moment becomes an opportunity to transurf, to glide effortlessly between the many lifelines, connecting with the versions of ourselves that have already achieved our desired outcomes. As we align our intentions with the abundant possibilities that exist, we begin to resonate with the frequencies of our preferred realities, drawing them closer to us. This multidimensional perspective reveals that our desires are not distant dreams, but tangible manifestations that already exist in the vast landscape of the alternative space. It is within our power to reach out, pluck those desired outcomes from the tapestry of our lifelines, and merge them with our current physical reality. Yet, we must approach this process with wisdom and discernment. The alternatives flow is not a whimsical playground where we can haphazardly shift from one lifeline to another without consequences. Rather, it calls upon us to cultivate clarity, purpose, and harmony within ourselves, aligning our actions with the highest good for all involved. In the art of transurfing, we learn to detach ourselves from the limitations of attachment and identification with any particular outcome. We recognize that when we free ourselves from the grip of desperate desires, we create space for the flow of abundance to naturally move through our lives. As we navigate this extraordinary world of endless possibilities, we also begin to understand the interconnectedness of all lifelines. What we choose for ourselves ripples out, influencing the collective web of existence. This realization urges us to act with compassion, empathy, and integrity, knowing that the consequences of our choices extend far beyond our own immediate reality. Through the practice of transurfing, we discover the true essence of our being, merely individual beings confined to a singular lifeline, but expansive beings capable of traversing the vast expanse of the alternative space. With every step we take, we realize that the power to create the life we desire resides within us. Our potential is boundless, and transurfing teaches us how to begin to grasp this truth. This deep paradigm shift will absolutely rock your world. That is it for today, Transurfers. We talked about fascinating concepts, alternatives flow, and the path of least resistance. If you found this video instructive, remember to give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and share to keep them coming. See you in the next video. In the meantime, keep transurfing, stay in the flow.